What's up, NetworkBruh fam? Y'all can see me? Let me know if y'all can see me. Can y'all see me? Let me know if y'all can see me. Hit me up in the chat room. Shout out Muhammad. What's up, Muhammad? Appreciate you for joining the live. Appreciate you for joining the live stream. We're just going to do a quick lab. Call it a night. It's a Saturday night. What's going on, Muhammad? Where are you tuning in from? Portsmouth, UK. That's what's up. I'm in Orlando, Florida, in case you don't know. I'm just going to give a little bit of time to let some people tune into the live stream. You know, first time I did a live was, I believe it was New Year's. Yeah, it was New Year's Eve. I had a couple drinks and stuff like that. I was burning some mozzarella sticks. And I said, you know what, let me do this again sometime. I'm just going to pick a random lab. I got this book called 101 Ccna Labs. You can use this with, the author is Paul Browning. Pretty sure you've heard of him. I believe he's from the UK as well, if I'm not mistaken. Paul Browning. Yeah, I think so. He used to be a cop, like years ago. He used to do law enforcement for several years. And then he got into networking and stuff like that. And his co-writer is Farai Tafa. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but I believe he is a CCIE, and he co-authored this book with Paul. So, pretty good book. I like it because you can do a lot of hands-on with it. I have lab equipment, you know, actual hardware that I use to, you know, practice some of these labs with. Actually, let's look him up. Let's see. Paul Browning. I need to get a separate screen here. I believe it's, let's do CCNA and let's see, pull him up. Thoughts on Paul Browning. Got a Reddit on him. This is his website, I believe. Yeah, this is like one of his first books, I believe he wrote. Module exams. Oh, wireless controller. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, I think that's him. He's from the UK as well, if I'm not mistaken. Matter of fact, he got a profile on here we could look up. Just waiting to see if we can get a couple more people to tune in, and then we'll start the lab. The lab we're going to do today is configuring Ebgp Advanced. It's just only got 2 routers in it, so I don't know why they consider that advanced. And it's only like the lab number 11 on here. So I started some of it, but I didn't really get to finish it. So I said, let me go ahead and do a live with it. Paul Browning. Just waiting for a couple more people to sign on. Twilight Sparkle. Shout out to Twilight Sparkle from Argentina. I went to South America 2016. I went to Colombia. I went to Medellin, Colombia. Home of your boy. What's his name again? Pablo. I actually got to meet Pablo's brother, believe it or not. I will show y'all some pictures one day. What's up, Rahul? He said good morning. It's good night over here. It's 8:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So good morning to you. Good night to me. Rahul, shout out to Rahul Shinde. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Where you tuned in from, Rahul? Or is that Rahul? Rahul, right? Let's read a little bit more about Paul Browning. Give a couple more people time to tune in. Hopefully I hit y'all notification bell so y'all know when I do these. Again, this is only my second live stream ever. I've been on YouTube. Well, I've been on YouTube since like the beginning of time, but I didn't really start a channel until like 2018 or something like that. And just, started doing some tutorials because I was studying for the Ccnp exam. The Ccnp exam. I thought about how to compare SDM templates to NBA 2K, and that's how I remembered that topic. And I just was like, I need to do a video for that. So I did that video, and a couple people liked it. And then after that, I started doing more videos. And I seen people were commenting, and I'm like, wow, okay, I guess people are actually watching. So there I was, and here we are today. A couple subscribers. Well, I'm like at 3K subscribers or something like that. So, Raul, where are you tuned in from, man? We got Twilight from Argentina. Mohammed is from UK. Where you from, Raul? Again, I'm just trying to get a little bit of information on Paul Browning. He is the author of this book, 100 Labs. I'll leave a link in the description below for this book right here. I've always liked the concept and like being able to do stuff hands-on, which is the reason why I got this book. And yes, it's CCNA level stuff, but y'all know me. I love doing the basics and, like trying to explain it to people, So, and I guess it don't have a challenge labs in here. There's some challenge labs. Frame relay. I don't even think frame relay's on the exam no more. I'm just trying to find some information on the author. I thought it would have been like in a preface or something like that. Here it is, right here. Right at the beginning. What am I thinking? Paul Browning is the author for Cisco CCNA Simplified. I guess he used to work in Cisco TAC. Taught over 2,000 engineers. Lives in Australia with his wife and his daughters. Anybody from Australia in here? Twilight, you have passed, and today you got a RHCSA. That's a tough exam, isn't it? Red Hat exam? That's like ethical hacking and stuff, isn't it? Use the final review for your CCNA. The wireless topics were so great, so I could get used to the web UI. Oh man, that is awesome, dude. I'm glad that that these videos helped you out, man. Yeah, I mean, most of the stuff like you could do practicing using packet tracer and stuff like that. But yeah, the thing I was trying to say in those videos was, how to use it, and getting used to the, you know, the GUI, like you just said. And yeah, I'm glad these videos help, man. You know, it's awesome to see when somebody says, you know, your videos help me pass my exam and stuff like that. That's the reason why I do these live streams and do these tutorials daily. Like, I'm not taking the CCNA exam. I took it like 2 years ago, and I just love, you know, I'm just passionate about networking, and that's the reason why I do these videos. Again, we're just giving a couple people more time to tune in. You know, some people might be, you know, putting their kids to bed or whatever, or maybe some of y'all busy doing something else, and you're just getting a notification bell. So I'm just giving a couple people some time to tune in. Y'all thank you for rocking with me. Again, we got Muhammad from the UK. Raul, still don't know where you, Raul is from an undisclosed location over there. And we got Twilight from Argentina who just tuned in. But yes, I did get to meet Pablo's brother, believe it or not. His brother is still alive. That was like 4 years ago, so I don't know if he's still alive now. But anyways, I believe his name was Roberto. Got to do a tour. We got to see his brother's grave, you know, like where the graveyard and stuff. It's his tombstone. Went to his brother's house, the one that was shot up on, like, in the top of the mountains and stuff like that. We got to see the building that his brother owned. Got to see all of that stuff. Finally got to meet his brother, so that was pretty dope. Shout out to Colombia. Shout out to Argentina. Let's go ahead and get started, because it seems like y'all the only ones that's gonna rock with me tonight. All right, so the lab we are doing today is not much about hacking, various advanced Linux topics. You know, Linux is super important in this field, because I remember I had a job interview for a network engineer role, and I passed the, it was like a screening interview. You know, I think it was like, he was a recruiter, but he knew some basic networking stuff. And he asked me some basic networking, you know, questions and stuff like that. And he even told me, yeah, you know, they want somebody that really knows a lot of, you know, about Linux and stuff like that. But he kind of went over the stuff that was in the job description. So I'm like, yeah, I already knew that. Whatever. So he's like, yeah, I think you're a good fit for this role. I'm going to set you up for an interview. Set me up with an interview. Maybe a week or two later, the two guys I was with, you know, asked me some basic network questions, basic networking questions. They like what they've seen so far, and then all of a sudden they would start asking me some Linux questions. I couldn't. Oh, actually, the recruiter asked me some basic Linux questions. I was able to get through that stuff, but then those guys were the second interview, second round. They asked me some more deeper Linux questions. I couldn't pass it. So, needless to say, I didn't get that job. Linux is super important. I definitely need to develop my Linux skills. Anyways, shout out to Chelsea, who's tuned in from Danville, Virginia. I've been to Virginia as well. Where did I go to? My on and off ex. She's from Warrenton. You know, I don't know if you know what Warrenton is. My homeboy, he used to live in, what's the capital? Not Alexandria. Jeez. It's where VCU is. His wife went to VCU. Virginia Commonwealth University. Jeez, I'm drawing a blank here, Chelsea. But anyways, yeah, I've been to Virginia. Love that state. Love it out there. It's just too cold for me. Anyways, so again, for y'all that's tuning in, we're doing the 101 Labs Cisco CCNA. I have some hardware. I was gonna do it on hardware, but y'all not gonna be able to see it. I didn't want to waste y'all time cabling and stuff like that. So I said, let me go ahead and launch GNS3 and do it on GNS3. I kind of started just the, you know, I just bought the routers, put them on there, and got ready to start labeling them and stuff like that. I don't think I did anything with it. Yeah, I did the AS number. Richmond. That's what I was. Richmond is what I was thinking of. That's where they from. And then he ended up buying a house in Mechanicsville after a couple years living there, and then it was too cold for him, so he moved back with his wife and stuff like that. Wife and kids. That's too cold for me. I'm in Florida, so I love this warm weather. Let's go ahead and power these bad boys on. Again, this is configuring Ebgp Advanced. I don't know why they say Advanced when we only got 2 routers here, so maybe I'll figure it out in a second. Anyways, it says here, the objective of the lab exercise is for you to learn how to configure Ebgp. You know what BGP is, right? It's a routing protocol. Where my bruh symbols at? I mean, my sound effects here. Let's start a debate here, right? Is BGP a routing protocol? I remember somebody put that on Twitter and said BGP is not a routing protocol. Tell me why. Y'all tell me why BGP is not a routing protocol. There's one little dude, he gave this long drawn out answer and stuff like that, but I want a simple answer. Y'all know how the NetworkBruh does. I thought a routing protocol is something that allows you to share routes to another router, right? Isn't that what BGP does? Doesn't it share routes? Yes, it's done manually. You got to configure some of this stuff. It's like statically almost. But why is BGP not a routing protocol? Somebody explain that to me. All right, so configuring BGP Advanced, Border Gateway Protocol is the routing protocol used to exchange information on the internet. In this lab, we will configure some of the advanced features of the exterior BGP relationships. As a Cisco engineer, as well as in the Cisco CCNA exam, you will be expected to know how to implement eBGP features in your network. Please use the following topology. So we've got router 1 and router 2 right here, as you can see. Let's go ahead and console into that bad boy. And let's console into router 2 as well. We got them powered on. I believe they should have the default host names and stuff on there already. I don't believe we have anything. Yeah, they should be, because I said I'm gonna go ahead and start this when I tune in, when y'all tune in. Oh, does anybody know how to on SolarWinds Putty? Y'all see how my output, right? I can't go past. I guess I can go past that line, but let's say if I do show IP interface brief, right? Oh, I guess it worked that time. I thought you couldn't go. I thought it wouldn't go past this line right here, but anyways. So we've got a clean slate here. The first thing they want us to do is configure host names on router 1 and router 2, which they already got some basic host names. This is what I meant right here. See how we got a line halfway? We got a line halfway there. I didn't know if there's a way to change all of that, but I don't think it's that serious. Carlos, what up? What up? Because it needs an IGP, interior gateway protocol. That's interesting. Yes, that's true. I guess you're right. But the book still refers to it as a routing protocol. So explain that. Yes, because once you get to the interior inside the network, then you need to start routing, right? Because you're not going to be able to, well, unless you do redistribution, you can propagate those routes, couldn't you? Is EGP what every network person calls BGP? How different ISP can share with each other, what IP blocks they have under their autonomous system. Technically, BGP is layer 7. Interesting. That's good to know too. Well, yeah, because it's pretty much an application, but I figured it was a routing protocol. Even the book says it's a routing protocol, but I guess that's up for debate, right? Carlos, where you tuned in from? We got 2 routers we're going to put in the, I guess I should label this for y'all. It says here they wanted, let me put a note here. This is the network 192.168.10.1/24. That's what this IP address is going to be. That's him, right? We're going to duplicate that. Can you duplicate it? There you can. He's going to be 10 dot. Come on. He's 10.2. Yep. Thanks for rocking with me tonight, guys. We're going to run this real quickly. We're supposed to put 2 loopbacks on each one of these. It says configure each router with each respective IPv4 addresses in both the loopback and gigabit interfaces. I don't have gigabit interfaces on this. This is only fast Ethernet, so maybe that's a typo. So he said FA01, which in my case is 10. We're going to go to global config mode, interface FA0/1. No. 1/0. Is there a way to stay on top with this? Nope. Why can't I do that? Because it's 1/0, duh. His IP address is 192.168.10.1. What's /24, y'all? Anybody? 255.0, right? That's a fundamental one. They also wanted loopbacks loopback 1 and 100 on router 1. So we're going to say interface loopback 1. His IP address is 192.168.100.0. That don't make no sense though. 100.0.255. That's a network address. I don't know why they say that. That ain't gonna work. It's probably they just need like 100.1, because this is a network address, so you can't configure that. And then loopback 100. So interface loop 100. His IP address was 192.168.1. So my bad. 100 is actually okay. Loopback 1. Let's go fix this. I did this wrong. Loopback 1. His IP address is 192.168.1.1. Subnet mask of /24. Carlos doing some Juniper stuff. Professional. Next level. That's what's up. Shout out Carlos doing the Juniper stuff. I'm a Cisco fanboy, so that's why I've been sticking with that. Shouldn't the loopback be /32? You're right, it should be. However, in the book, they said they wanted /24. Loopback 1 was 1.0, 1.1, and then they said they wanted a loopback 100. So interface loopback 100. And for some odd reason, they say 100.0, but I believe they probably meant like it's a 100, 168, 100.1. It says .0 network, but maybe they just trying to advertise some networks and not necessarily a specific IP address. So now if we do a show IP interface brief to show our work with the IP addressing, somebody's admin down. Oh, this guy is admin down. Y'all know what we got to do. We got to do a no shut for that, right? So it's configured T. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Interface FA 1/0 no shut, and that should bring it back up because it is connected to the other side. And he's up. Show IP interface brief. Exclude the unassigned so we can filter that out, right? Up. That all looks good. 10.1, 1.1, and 100.1. That's what they wanted right there. I thought about putting some more labels so y'all can see all of this, but I said I don't want to waste y'all time and just get right into it. They want us to do the same thing on router 2, right? And here we've got nothing so far, right? Except for this translation right here that I was trying to do. I was just trying to test to see how come, because I thought you couldn't be able to see the other side. I thought I had to fix that. What's up, Magetti? Where you tuned in from? We are doing configuring Ebgp Advanced. We got 2 routers here. We're just going to put them in the network, establish a BGP relationship. Right now, we're just doing the IP addressing for router 2. Configure terminal interface. They said they wanted the IP addressing was going to be FA10, so FA1/0, and his IP address is 10.2, right? So 192.168.10.2, subnet mask of /24, and we're gonna no shut it this time so that way we get that right out our system. We're gonna go to interface. They said loopback 1. Shout out to y'all that's tuning in. Shout out to Carlos, Muhammad. Who else we got in here? Twilight. No IP domain lookup. You're right. That's what I need to make sure that they don't do that. But guess what? I think it is turned on because when you do this right here, it doesn't translate anything. So otherwise, it would have just, it would have just hung there. Anyway, where were we at? We was on the we needed to do the loop back. So interface loop back 1. He's 10.2. Did we do that yet? We did not. So IP address 192.168.10.2, 255.255.255.0. Oh, that's wrong. That overlaps. What am I doing wrong here? He's 10.2, router 2. Let me see. Router 1 needs to be 10.1. That's correct. Router 2 need to be 192.168.10.2. It overlaps with FA10. Oh, duh. Interface loopback 0 is the wrong address. IP address is 2.0. What am I thinking? 2.1. 192.168.2.1. Really simple stuff, man. We just doing the IP address in here. We haven't even got to the BGP part yet. Then he said loopback 200, which is 200.0 network. So interface loopback 200. His IP address is 192.168.200.1. And the subnet mask is /24. Let's see what we got so far. And I guess that's why people like, even G and stuff like that. So that way you ain't got to worry about doing all this IP. This is like easy homework we got to do right here. Just basic housekeeping here. Now, the next thing he says, all right, so we configured each router with the respective IP addresses in both the loopback and gigabit interfaces. It's actually the fast Ethernet interfaces. Then he says to configure a static route to loopback 100 and loopback 200 respectively. So we need to do a static route. So we're on router 2. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and do the loopback on that bad boy. Not loopback, but the static route. What's up, Brian? Oh yeah, I remember you. You tuned in on my first live stream. You the one that helped us with a lot of stuff, didn't you? Shout out, Brian. Brian, where you tuned in from? We needed to do the static IP, right? That's IP route, right? And then we said we wanted to loop back to loopback 100, static route to loopback 100. So it's going to be to get to 192.168.100.0 network, subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. Right, to get to that network. Do we do a network or the address? I believe it's the network. In what cases would you use BGP besides using it in an ISP? From my understanding, yeah, in an ISP for sure. You could do internal BGP, believe it or not, but it's a slow routing protocol, right? So it's not gonna propagate routes and stuff as fast as say EIGRP, for sure. I just got a job not too long ago as a network engineer, so I'm not that advanced when it comes to BGP. Like, I'm just starting to touch the WAN router right now, but I'm doing some basic stuff, just upgrading the iOS. Does anybody know? Twilight has a question here. What cases would you use BGP besides using it in an internet service provider, ISP? So that's the IP route. Take the next hop of 192.168.10.1. That's the next hop to get to the 100.0 network, right? So now we should have a static route. We do show IP route, and we got a static route, and that is it right there. See, I didn't put 10.1. I put 10.0. I mean, yeah, I didn't put. Yeah, to get to that network, take 10.1, which is the next hop, right? So we got a route to that. And then they said they want us to do the same thing on router 1. So we go to router 1. For y'all that's tuned in, that's just now tuning in, this is the lab we're working with. We're trying to create a BGP relationship between these two. It says advanced, but we got two routers. This one is going to be sitting in AS100. That's in AS200, router 2, right? He's got the 10.2 IP address. He's got the 10.1 IP address. As I'm moving the labels there, messing things up here. For VRF into BGP. for VRF into BGP. Are you answering Brian's question? Brian scheduled his CCNA. Shout out to Brian from March. Videos helped me a lot in the beginning. Man, I'm glad it's helped you out, man. It will cost time in the lab, Mr. Lab Man. You're right. It costs time when you gotta do these do IP addressing and stuff like that first. Maybe I should have done that before I, let you guys tune in. But anyways, we needed to do a static route on router 1, and he said to do one to loop back 200, which was 200.0 network. IP route is how you do a static route, right? You say 192.168.1, no, to get to the 200.0 network /24. Take the next hop of the next guy, which is 192.168.10.2. And we should have a static route to the 200.0 network. So IP route, not 200, my bad. Yes, there's our static route right there. Notice we got an S right here. Administrative distance of 1 for static routes. How do you get there? You take it via 10.2, which is the next hop. That guy right there, right? So to get to this network right here, or to get to that network, 10.0 network, take this next hop right there, right? That makes sense? Soluciones LP, is that what were you answering Brian's question for VRF into BGP? That's why we would use BGP besides using it in an internet service provider. All right, so we got past that task. We are on task 3. There's 4 tasks here, so we got 3 out of 4. I guess we're halfway done now. Configure an Ebgp session between router 1 and router 2 with the following requirements. Okay, this is what we came to do here. First one was router 1 will be inside ASN 100. Router 2 will be inside ASN 200. That should be simple enough. So we're going to put router 1. We started with router BGP, just like most of the routing protocols. Router and then the routing protocol. And then, we got to do he said 100. My bad. And then that means we need to make the other guy our neighbor. So router 2 is an AS200. So we're going to say neighbor 192.168.10.2, I believe it was, right? He's our neighbor. Yeah, he's our neighbor. So we're going to make him our neighbor 10.2 via 10.2, and he's an ASN 200, right? So remote AS200, right? That's how you do it. And then what else? I don't think we got to do network statements. He just said router 1 will be an ASN 100, router 2 will be an ASN 200. So now we just go to router 2 and do the same thing pretty much. We got routes to them, so we're gonna say global config mode router BGP. He's an ASN 200. We're gonna say network, not network. So I'm so used to like OSPF and EIGRP. You say neighbor for BGP, and the neighbor was this guy. I'm gonna put this over here so y'all can see. All right, maybe that would be better. Ain't no way I can keep the other one on top though, could I? Let me see if we could do that. I don't think we could. You could use VRF Lite. I believe we could. You're right. Let's see here. I'm gonna make this guy small. We'll do it this way so that way we could see and I could talk to y'all at the same time. I need to get a second monitor, y'all. If I'm gonna do this, I need to get a second monitor. All right, that makes sense. Hope y'all can see me and keep the other one on top. Where we at here? There he is, right there. Good. Now I can see y'all and I can work with this. So y'all can see all of this too. Perfect. So the neighbor for router 2 is router 1. Neighbor is 192.168.10.1. Thanks for rocking with me. Shout out to Carlos, Mr. Labman. Where are you tuned in from, Mr. Labman? Ah! Okay, neighbor 10.2. And then he is an ASN. Remote AS is 100. We should see BGP come up once you do that, I believe, right? It is only important to control your incoming traffic. Use BGP to advertise routes to your provider while still advertising only a default route into your AS. Oh, right. Very true. Otherwise, the whole world could see your internal routes and get to anything they need to inside your router. I mean, inside your network, right? Isn't that correct, Mr. Labman? BGP should be preferred. There goes the BGP right there. See, that's why they say it's a slow routing protocol. Y'all see how long it took before it came up? So we do show IP BGP some. And now you can see BGP's been up for 13 seconds. AS 100. And it came up on router 1 as well. So we're good there. Should be preferred over static routes only when an advantage in traffic control can be realized. Should be preferred over static routes. I don't understand why. I figured you would want a route that has a higher, lower AD, right? So in this case, static routes, the static routes I created have AD of 1. So wouldn't you prefer that over BGP? I guess not on the wide area network, right? So what else they want us to know or do? Router 1 should use loopback 100 as the peer source address. So router 1, this guy right here, should use loopback 100 as the peer source address. And router 2 should do the same. Okay. My man, Mr. Lightfoot, how you doing? Shout out to Dewan Lightfoot, Mr. Lab every day. Yes, we putting in work, man. I said I'm gonna start doing some live labs like you used to do back in the day. Today we are doing Ebgp Advanced configuring. I don't know how it's advanced. We got only 2 routers here, but anyway, BGP is up. They wanted us to. I'm gonna read that again for y'all. Router 1 should use loopback 100 as the peer source address, and router 2 should do the same. So we're gonna say. Oh, shout out to Dewan for my first super chat, Mr. Dewan. Thank you for that, man. That's the first super chat I've ever gotten, and I said I'm gonna start doing these live chats more often and stuff. Anywho, if y'all don't know about Mr. Dewan Lightfoot, y'all check out his website, labeveryday.com. He's got the whole community called Lab Everyday to get us to Lab Everyday. That's where I got this shirt from. Shout out to my man. That's an inspiration right there. Anywho. Router 1 should use, okay, so loopback 100. So we're going to go back into the process, the AS 100, right? So we're going to go to global config mode, router BGP 100, and we're going to say his neighbor. I believe it's going to be in the neighbor statement. I know that. That's like when you're changing the source address. So now when router 1's talking to router 2, he's talking like, basically, it's like he's talking out of loopback 100 is what we're trying to say here. Neighbor is 192.168.10.2. Now I don't remember how to do that. I'm gonna go. Y'all notice I'm gonna go. I'm not afraid to question mark for y'all. I am not gonna stunt on y'all like that because I can't. We need to change the source address. You would think it would just be source, right? How do we change what IP address or what interface he's talking from? Basically, we're going to change. He says he wants us to change the peer source address. So when we're talking to router 2, what interface are we using to talk to him out of? I would think it would have been like source address. You know how when you could change the source address for telnet or something like that? Right here. That's it right there. Source of routing updates. So we're going to say update source. That got to be it. Yeah. And then you put the loopback address. There you go, Dennis. I didn't even see. I wasn't even paying attention. Update source. loopback 100, right? So now, yeah, so now I'm gonna be talking to router 2 using loopback 100. Shout out to Dennis Bates. That's that I remember you. You the dude with the old school equipment, a whole house full of routers and switches and stuff. Yep, that's exactly what I was looking for. Appreciate that. I got to do the same thing on router 2 now. So, we say configure terminal. Yep, neighbor. Yep, exactly. So router, he's in BGP. Let me put this back up so y'all can see. For y'all that's just tuning in, we're creating a BGP relationship between router 1 and router 2, right? I needed to change the source address for router 1. So when router 2, or when router 1 is sending updates to router 2, I needed to change the source address to loopback 100. And if y'all look in the chat right here, Dennis Bates just gave us the way to do that. So he said he is in, router 2 is in BGP 200. Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to do that. See, you can't put two ASs here, right? Notice this error right here. BGP is already running. AS is 200, so I couldn't even do that. That was a typo. We're going to say, Dennis said neighbor. And then the neighbor, which was 192.168.10. What's the neighbor? 10.1. And then update source. I had to question mark through that, but Dennis just gave us the answer. Chilling. I didn't learn most of this stuff yet, but I'm here to support. Hey, listen, I'm learning too, dude. This ain't new to me, but I'm just kind of doing this on the fly, and I'm learning to notice how we're collaborating. Dennis gave me the answer. I wasn't sure how to do that, so we kind of collaborate. We're learning together, guys. Update source for this guy. He said loopback 100. Right? Why couldn't I do that? Oh, because he don't have loopback 100. It's loopback 200. Duh. So now, what do you think about adding a client behind router 1 and a server behind router 2 and see how BGP works? That's a good idea too, but I'm gonna do just enough to get through this lab right here. And that's all they require, just these 2 routers. But yeah, that's a good thing to do. I don't want to hold up anybody's time. I know it's a Saturday night and I'm here labbing. I do have a life, but I wanted to do this. I just wanted to do this live stream real quick. Shout out to Mr. Lab Man, Dennis Bates, Solucionis LP. Forgot where he was from. The next thing they wanted us to do, we're on task 3 out of 4. So we're about, I guess, 75% complete. We're halfway to task 3. Make sure that if at some point router 2 learns okay, this sounds a little, y'all ready for this? Make sure that if at some point router 2 learns an IP prefix from another BGP router and then sends it to router 1, the next hop address will remain as the router 2 IP address. In other words, it's going to increase the TTL to 2. TTL is what? Time to live, right? I believe that one is like next. It's going to be in one of these. So I believe that's another neighbor statement. So we know we got to go into the global config mode, right? So global config mode, configure terminal. Shout out to Dave, man. Appreciate the super chat. Salute to Dewan for putting me on your channel. Oh, man, thank you for that. Appreciate the Saturday night. I'm looking forward to more content. Appreciate that, man. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, this is only my second live stream. The first time I did it, I was halfway drunk trying to get through the live stream. We was configuring back-to-back serial connections between 2 routers, right? In a wide area network. And that was my first time doing a live stream. I said from now on, I'm gonna start doing more live streams and get more involved with the community. And you know, this is just fun to me. I'm just passionate about networking. So I forgot what we was gonna do here. Anyways, appreciate the super chat, Dave. Make sure that if at some point router 2 learns an IP prefix, I know we got to go to global config mode and then go to the router. What do you call it? The process for BGP. So in this case, we're in router 2 BGP 200. I know it's going to be in the neighbor statement for sure. Neighbor 192.168.10.1. He said something about, okay, make sure that at some point router 2 learns an IP prefix from another BGP router and then sends it to router 2. The next hop address will remain the same will remain as router 2's IP address. So I believe this is what do you call it? Like the AS path. They don't change the AS path, I believe. I believe it's gonna be this. Disable the next hop capital. I believe it's gonna be next hop self. Soluciones. That looks like what you got to do right there. Neighbor. Soluciones. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I only took like 1 year of Spanish in community college. But anyways, Soluciones LP says neighbor. You put the neighbor address, which I was doing so far. Then Ebgp multi-hop 2. Because you said, yeah, I believe that's the time to live. Yeah. I believe that's what you got to do. I thought it was next hop self too, Silas. I thought that's what it was. I'm going to read this for y'all again, and then maybe we could debate this. Make sure that if at some point router 2, this guy right here, learns an IP prefix from another BGP router. We got a hypothetical one somewhere else, right? Then sends it to router 1. He sends him the update. The next hop address will remain as the router 2 IP address, which is that, and increase the time to live to 2. Soluciones, I believe yours at least addresses the time to live with the 2. That's why I believe what you're saying is correct. So it's neighbor and then Ebgp multi-hop, which makes sense because we learned about Ebgp. But what is Ebgp multi-hop? I forgot what that is. Allows Ebgp neighbors not on directly connected networks. I see now we can debate this here. I believe it's going to be, we can debate or we can just look this over here. Could you make a video tutorial on how to configure routers and switches in GNS3? Brian, yes, I could do that, but it's a complex and convoluted way to set up GNS3. It took me a little bit to do it, but go to David Bomble's channel. Go to just YouTube David Bomble, GNS3 tutorials. He breaks down on how to set up GNS3. It gets a little confusing and stuff like that, but maybe I'll do a tutorial in the future. It's out of what Silas said and what Soluciones said. Ebgp multi-hop is to connect to a peer that is not directly connected. I think Carlos and Silas are correct. I'm gonna go with this multi-hop. But you know what? The answers are in this book, so we'll go with that. It's Ebgp multi-hop 2. You was right. Soluciones LP. You shout out the Soluciones LP. Where you tuned in from? Because yeah, that's how you do it. And I figured it was I knew it was a neighbor statement, but I wasn't sure what you had to do. But so when you put the 2, that should reference the hops. That's why it's called multi-hop. Because typically, yeah, you could just do like one hop or something like that, right? I can't remember, but that's how you do it. Silas, I'm gonna read you that question one more time. Make sure. Let me bring up the topology here. Make sure that if at some point router 2 learns an IP prefix from another BGP router, another one that's not on here in this topology here, and then sends it to router 1, the next hop address will remain as the router 2 IP address, which is this 192.168.10.2/24, and increase the time to live to 2, which is why that I believe that 2 right there references that. So if we question mark through that, maximum hop count 2. So there you go. That was it. And I believe you got to do the same thing on router 1. No, that's not what they asked. Anyways, next task is, oh, this is still task 3. We're doing task 3 out of 4. For y'all who are just joining in, shout out to Brian, Silas, Twilight, Carlos, all of y'all, Dewan, Lightfoot for the super chat, Dave for the super chat. Y'all hit me with that like button, man. Y'all know I'm new to this. This is only my second live stream ever, so hit me with that like button if y'all like what y'all see so far. This next task says, hellos will be sent every 5 seconds with a hold timer of 15 seconds. This should be an easy one. I believe you can set the hold timer and the timers over here. So, hellos will be sent every 5 seconds. Do you do it? Is that a neighbor statement as well? Hello, 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 hello. How do we do the hello statements in BGP? Anybody remember? This should be an easy one too. I thought it was. Hello? Nope. We're in router BGP 200. How do we set the timers to 5 seconds? Oh, maybe it's right here. Timers. BGP per neighbors per timer. Hellos will be sent every 5 seconds. Timers. BGP. The keep alive. No, they said the keep alive is 15 seconds, but the hellos sent every 5 seconds. Anybody know that? So if we do keep alive, that's the hold timer, right? Hold is the same thing as keep alive. Let's see. Keep alive. Keep alive is hellos will be sent every 5 seconds. So is it going to be 5? And then the hold time. Which one is the hellos and which? Okay, so you know what? That makes sense. Keep alive will be the hellos. The hold time will be the hold timers. Duh. Dennis, yeah, it's timers BGP. So yes, pretty much the same thing. It's timers BGP, and then the 2 timers that you need to put. So in this case, they wanted hellos every 5 seconds, and the hold timer of 15 seconds. So 5. This is the hold timer. Keep alive, right? Because we're trying to keep him alive by saying hello all the time. And then the hold time is 15. So timers BGP 5, 15. Interesting. A hold time of less than 20 seconds increases the chances of peer flapping. Well, this is just a warning. Dennis, is anything going to blow up if we do this? We need to do the same thing on router 1 anyway. Any BGP experts in here? Router 1, we need to do that on router 1 as well, he said. So, router, he's in AS 100, right? So, BGP 100. We do the same timers here. We're probably going to get the same warning there. I didn't do it backwards, did I, guys? Is it supposed to be 15 and then 5? Or is it 5 and then 15? Because they said hellos every 5 seconds, hold timer every 15 seconds. Authentication will be done with the password CCNA unencrypted. That's not a secure password, but they want the password to be CCNA. Authentication will be done with the password CCNA. It's okay in a test network, but watch yourself in production. Good to know. Good to know. I'll make sure I watch the timers. Remember, y'all, for y'all that are just tuning in and for y'all who are just learning this stuff, it's okay to do it this time, but be careful because a hold time of less than 20 seconds increases the chances of peer flapping. What's flapping, right? That's when they go up and down like this, right? Where it connects, disconnects, connects, disconnects. We got to be careful when we do that for less than 20 seconds. They just doing that for a lab. Again, authentication will be done with the password CCNA. How do we set authentication between BGP? Everybody remember that one? I believe it's probably just going to be authentication, right? Nope, it's not. Is it password? No. Okay, we're in the router config mode. How do we set a password authentication? Notice I'm questioning. I'm not going to front for y'all. I don't know everything, okay? We need to do authentication with BGP here. Do you go in a router config mode to do that? Where's your authentication done at? Soluciones, you seem to be the teacher's pet. Yo, how do you set up authentication? Let's get out of router config mode and try that. Soluciones, I am using 101 Labs Cisco CCNA book. It's by Paul Browning, who's from the UK, and Farai Tafa. He is a CCIE. He co-authored this book. You can use this with hardware or GNS3 or any kind of emulation software. I was going to use my hardware, but then y'all wouldn't be able to see the topology and I wouldn't be able to explain it like this. So maybe next time when I get in the second screen, I'll leave a topology for y'all and then use my hardware because I like using my hardware. I'm tired of it collecting dust over here. We needed to set up authentication. Maybe it's not in router config mode. Is it just authentication or is it just BGP? Is it router? Neighbor authentication and yeah, no, Dennis, that sounds about right too. Router BGP. So we're in router 1, so it's BGP 100, and then the neighbor. So it's probably gonna be a neighbor statement. Yes, 192.168.10. Yeah, the neighbor's 10.2. Do you put the subnet mask? No. I would have thought authentication or something like that too. That's exactly what I thought. How do you set up authentication, guys? Authentication between two routers. They want us to set up authentication and put the password as CCNA. Hit me with the like button, y'all. Hit me with the likes. Hit me with the likes. Authentication. Y'all don't make me look in this book so that way I can get through this. Let's try this. I don't see anything in here for authentication. Neighbor specific description. We can advertise capability. Ebgp multi-hop. How do we set up authentication? Password. That sound about right too. Oh, there you go, right there. Duh. Shout out to Carlos for reading that. He the only one in here that can read. BGP 100. There you go, Dennis. You're a little behind on the ball there, Dennis. But Carlos got it. Yeah, so it's neighbor 192, and there it was, right there, right in my face. 192.168.1 or 10.2 password, and then CCNA, all caps. What do they want after that? That's it. So neighbor, password. We got to do the same thing on router 2. Router, so we go to glove. We're on router config mode, but I'm going to get out and do it again anyway. So router, BGP 200. We're going to say neighbor, BGP, no, neighbor 192.168.10.1. And then password is CCNA. I believe that's it right there. How can we verify that though? Like to look at it, well, at least look at the password. Show IP BGP some, because they're gonna want us to do some show commands to verify our work. BGP's up for 22 minutes. Make sure that they advertise their loopback 1 network address and the gigabit interface, or in this case, faster Ethernet interface via BGP. Y'all ready? Make sure. Oh, so this is the last task. The next task is just show commands, and we're just going to verify our work, guys. And we about to wrap this up. And I'm going to keep it under an hour. That's exactly what I was shooting for, too. It's 8:56. We're going to try to get this by 9 o'clock. So we're almost done here, y'all. I'm going to read this again, y'all. Make sure that they advertise the loopback 1 network address. So I'm going to go back to router 1 and show you the addresses so far so y'all can see. Show IP interface brief. Exclude unassigned. Come on. Pipe exclude unassigned. Right? Make sure that they advertise the loopback 1 network address and the fast Ethernet interface via BGP. So, oh, that's done with a network statement. That's an easy one. That's an easy one. I know that one. But now I know how to set up authentication. Password. At least we all know too now. Because Dennis and Carlos knew apparently. And they was just trying to see if everybody else knew. Interface. No, my bad. We need to go to router config mode. So router BGP 100. And we're going to do a network statement, just like we do with EIGVP and OSPF and RIP. We want to advertise the loopback 1 address. So we want to advertise this. And the gigabit interface, the fast Ethernet. So we want to advertise this. We want to advertise both these addresses right here. So they should be with network statements. 10.0 network and 1.0 network. So basically, network 192.168.10.0. Is there anything else we got to do? Backdoor? No, we ain't got to do route maps. I believe that's it. I believe it's just network statements. 10.0 network. And fast Ethernet would be, or the loopback would be 1.0 network. Right? We do show IP route. Actually, we'd have to go to the other guy and see the routes to the 1.0 network. Show IP and see if we learned some BGP routes. We did not. Why is he not advertising? Oh, a 10.0 is already connected, but we don't see the 1.0 network. How come he don't see the 1.0 network? We got to run it again because BGP is slow. We got nothing but static routes. Get out of my face, O'Shea Duke Jackson. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson, though. One of my favorite YouTubers. Is a funny guy. Network. Oh, the mask. Duh. Soluciones, man. Shout out to Soluciones for coming up with that. I'm missing the mask statements, the subnet masks. Let's look at the config for it though. Pipe section BGP. Let's see what we got so far. We need to get rid of these network statements, right? And do mask. We gotta do the mask for these, right? Do we need to get rid of these network statements then, if that's the case? Let me see what happens if I just add the mask to that. Router BGP 100 and say network 192.168.1.0 mask. I mean 1.0. I shouldn't be doing that, I guess, huh? Have I been doing that? Is that what I was saying? Mask, and then the mask is 255.255.255.0. Now, if we do a show run section so we can see BGP, does he add one with the mask? Dennis, appreciate the super chat, man. Do you have a question or anything like that? We did the mask. How come he didn't show up in here though? Maybe I gotta get rid of that first network statement and then add the mask. Dennis, man, I truly appreciate that super chat, dude. Yeah, this is only my second live stream right here. Class full. Oh, maybe because I gotta do. You right. It's a class full. So maybe I gotta do 255 dot. Well, yeah, that is a classful statement, isn't it? So it's 255.0. Let me see. Because we're not getting any BGP routes, so I know for a fact we ain't do that right. The wildcard mask. Duh. What is wrong with me, man? Let's write that network statement over again. Let's get rid of those two network statements. Let's do that. No this. And no this. Control A, no. Know y'all shortcuts too. Let's do a show run section BGP. What is going on here? Did I crash? Okay, good. I swear, if this would have crashed on me on a live stream. Okay, either way, we got rid of those network statements. Let's put them back in with some subnet masks. Router BGP 100. We're going to say network. BGP does not require wildcard masks. It does not, but it still didn't show up for some reason. Maybe we'll just do the mask. Let's do it again, but we'll do the mask. We had to get rid of those other ones. Router ID. No, I don't think we got to do anything with the router ID. Not right now. We're gonna do those network statements over again though. 192.168.10. The loopback address. Let me make sure. Let me bring those up before I do these statements. Show IP interface brief. Exclude unassigned. Right. We want to advertise these two networks. That network and that network in BGP. So we're gonna global config mode router BGP 100, and we're gonna say network 192.168.10.0, and then we're gonna do the mask, but this time we're gonna add it 255.0, and then does he show up in the running config when we do that? Show run section BGP. I guess it won't show up that way. I thought the mask would have showed up. Maybe not. Let's do the same thing, but do the 1.0 network. Why not the loopback? Yeah, the loopback is the... what was the loopback? It was 100.0. Duh. Well, either way. What he said the loopback was 100.0, right? Oh, because that's not what they asked for. What they asked for was, oh yes, it did. Loopback 0, loopback 1. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that is the loopback 1.0 network, and that's what I did. Yes. So this right here should advertise the loopback right here. Check the other router. Silas, you're right. I'm gonna do that right now. So what he wanted, show IP interface brief, exclude unassigned, right? He want us to advertise this out of BGP and this out of BGP. No, my bad. That's already it. This out of BGP and this out of BGP. The loopback, right? He said loopback 200. Not loopback 1. That's what it was. Okay, so loopback 100 is the 1.0, 100.0. Yes. So let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. And we're going to say 100.0. That's my bad. Loopback 100 was 100.0. That's what I meant. So now on this guy, do I have routes to... I'm not going to have no BGP route just yet. I would have thought I would. Network. That's the mask. Let's look at show. Let me see what I got so far. Section BGP. 10.0 network is the fast Ethernet, and then the loopback. So this should advertise the fast Ethernet. This should advertise the loopback. Show IP BGP sum. Yes. Show IP BGP. You right. So we got the password. We got that. So they're neighbors. We did that already. Silas. Show IP BGP sum. They're neighbors. And then we just do show IP BGP. There we go. There you go, Silas. So he got a network. That's he got to wait to that network, which is himself. So let's do a router 1. Does he have... I thought the BGP route would have showed up in here, though. At least. Show IP BGP. Whatever. Anyways, what was the question again? Make sure that they advertise their loopback 1 network address. Okay. I guess we did that, but I thought I would have seen a BGP route in the routing table. Yeah, I thought I would have seen a BGP route in the routing table. Anyways, he says here, ping 192.168 from router 1, right? We're going to router 1 right here. From router 1, ping 192.168.1.1, source loopback 1 from router 1, right? So 2.1 is loopback on router 2. So let's try that. Ping 192.168.2.1, and then he said the source is going to be loopback 1. Packet sent with a source of that. Maybe because he doesn't. Oh, maybe I didn't do the network statements on this guy. That's why. Configure terminal router BGP. That's why it died. 200 network. We need to advertise what he said. The gigabit Ethernet. The gigabit interface. In this case, the fast Ethernet interface and BGP. So network 192.168. Clear IPG BGP soft. Maybe it needs time to converge. You're right. That's a good one too. That's a good way to reset BGP. The BGP process. 192.168 10.0. A mask of 255.255.255.0. And then the loopback 200 IP address, which was, we're going to look at it real quick before we make a network statement. We want to advertise that from out of BGP. Right? Loopback 100 or 200? Loopback 1 network address. So loopback 1 network address is that. Later, Silas. Shout out to Silas. Network statement for loopback is 192.168.2.0 with a mask of 255.255.0. 255.0. Right? Right? Because they didn't say loopback 200. They said loopback 1. Make sure that they advertise their loopback 1 network address. So he's 2.1. That's how come I wasn't able to ping it. So the other guy needs to be, let me see. Did I do 2.1? So he should have one that's 1.0. There it is. That's the other network statement I needed. Okay. Okay, so we're almost done here, y'all. We're almost done. Thanks for rocking with me. All right, so we got our network statement here. I should be able to ping it now. Let's see. You're right. Maybe we need to clear IP BGP. Let's do that and give it some time to converge like you just said. Clear IP BGP soft. Can you do that here, or you got to do that in clear all peers? Let's just do that. On router 1. I'm resetting it. Ah! I can do the same thing on this guy. I hope I just closed down BGP here. Clear IP BGP. All peers. We got to do that IP address again. Is that the case? Let's make sure we do the soft. I didn't do soft. I just cleared. I just got rid of the password there, I believe. Let's see. Show IP. Show run section BGP. It's password CCNA. And then the other one, show run section BGP. The password is there. Well, okay, looks like we got It's active now. Yes, there is a password. I put the password there though. I did take down the session. I sure enough did. We got to reset this. How do we reset this whole? How do we reset the whole session? Because I definitely took down BGP. Because see, look, it's active. Now it's looking for. Y'all see that? No IP. Fushnicken, help me out here, man. Let's see. It's got the password though. There is a password problem. You're right, but I thought we let's do this. Let's take it off. Router BGP 100. Router 2 is saying it does not have a password. Yeah, but we put it in there though. Right? Yeah, we put it in there right there, and then we did the same thing on this guy. Oh, MD5 so we gotta redo the whole thing then. Your network statement says 10 dot blah 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 and not. Yes, you're right. Let's do this though. We need to get rid of that password real quick. Let's get rid of that on both sides and then redo it. So no this, and on the other guy show run section BGP, and get rid of that guy right there for now. Pairing mismatch. Yeah, you're right. So no this guy. Oops, we gotta go router BGP 100. No, 200. No password. Yes, there is a pairing mismatch. But I thought, so IP BGP sum. We was almost done, y'all. It's still active. That's not a good sign. I think we broke something here. Put that no to that command and try it again. On what? On this guy? 192, yeah, no password and then that. We took down BGP. Good thing this is a lab environment, and this is why you got a lab every day. Don't practice this don't try this at home. Actually, try this at home. Don't do it on a production environment. Anyway, show IP, BGP, some. Let's see what we're working with here. We definitely took down BGP. What we needed to do was, why we got a pairing mismatch though? Debug. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. We're going to do a debug. BGP auth. Can't do it on this guy, could you? Events? No, I don't want to do all of that. But I took out we took out the password though. So here's what we got so far. Show run on router 1. BGP section BGP. I did. See, look. Router 1, we took out the password. The CCNA password that was in there, gone. See that? We took out the password. Looks like there is a no eBGP multi-hop on router 1. You're right. What happened to that command? Because we put that earlier with the what did we do? We did the eBGP multi-hop. We sure did. So let's go back to router BGP 100, and we're gonna say it was the neighbor statement for sure. His neighbor's 182.168.10. Why did it take off that? Why did it take off that command? That's what I don't get. 10.2 Ebgp multi-hop and then 2. And then we had to do the same thing on the other guy, router 2. So we go here and we're gonna say router. Let's take a look at his configs, right? Show run section BGP. Shout out to Foo Schnickens. That was one of my favorite rap groups from the 90s. Remember they did the song with Shaq. I ain't gonna say that was the first time I heard of them. I remember them. They used to do joints with Tribe Called Quest and stuff. We got the BGP, we got the multi-hop statement on here, right? So here's router 2's BGP configuration. Y'all see that? Remote AS, eBGP multi-hop. We got the update sources, loopback 200. We got our network statements. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. And thanks for keeping me motivated here after we just took down BGP. It's a good thing this is not an internet service provider or anything like that. And this is why we need a lab every day. Let's take a look at the configs on router 1. Show IP, show run section BGP. We was trying to get done by 9 o'clock. And look at this. We broke this at the last step. We got our timers correctly. Do we have timers? Do we have timers on router 2? We do. We got our timers. We got our network statements. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? We got the correct loopback address. Maybe we got to do a reset again, like you mentioned, but I'm not going to do all, right? We're just going to do clear. You can't do a clear in here, can you? How you do a soft reset on BGP? Isn't it just clear IP BGP soft right here in the router statement? Router BGP 200 in this case. So we're gonna say clear. No, you can't. You gotta go out of that mode, can't you? You gotta go in this and then clear IP BGP. And this is where I messed it up. Clear all peers. Didn't mean to do that. We just wanted to do like a soft reset. I thought it was you can clear the address to clear. Clear IP BGP star soft. Oh, see? You see, Mr. Fushnigan? Now I forgot the soft key command, the soft command, and that's what just took it down. Okay, so no, star soft. Okay, so inbound and outbound updates. Now that's gonna reset it though, wouldn't it? Because right now we're active. I don't think BGP is up. I don't think BGP is up, y'all. When you change the update source, you need to change the neighbor on the other side. I didn't do that. Router 1's update source is loopback 100. Router 2's loopback's update source is loopback 200. Why do I need to change the neighbor on the other side? And put the loopback. That's what I did. Show IP BGP sum. Technically, it's not up, right? Because it's active. It's supposed to say something else. Because active means he's actively looking for prefixes and stuff, right? It's technically down right now at this point. Isn't that right? Because I don't think I'll be able to. The soft command resets without dropping the TCP connection. Good to know. Cause I'm definitely gonna remember that one now. But your update source is not advertised 200. Carlos says my update source is not advertising. It's not advertising 200. Loopback 200 is 200.0. Can you ping between loopbacks? No, well, I don't think so. That was what we're supposed to do. That's what we were supposed to do. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. Hit the like button. Hit that share button. Make sure y'all subscribe to this channel. We are going to try to ping the, yes, it's actively looking for connections. And yes, it's not connected right now. BGP is not established. We have established that, Carlos. Yes, we have to fix this though, man. Can I ping between loopbacks? Let me see. Can I ping, what's the other loopback? Router 2's loopback is show IP interface brief. Exclude unassigned. Can I ping 2.1? Pretty sure I can. Can't. What we needed was oh, boxing bag sold. I was trying to buy me a boxing bag. Yeah, no, I'm just messing with you, Carlos, man. We needed, what did we need to do here? Yeah, I definitely took it down, y'all. Let's see here. No neighbor update. So we need to remove that, is what you're saying? Remove the update source. Soluciones LP on both sides. We need to remove that and then add it again. Because from what I remember, that's what they asked us to do. Yeah, that was in task 3. And we needed to make that update source. Best thing if possible is to put both BGP configs on Notepad and compare the two. Yes, you're right. Erase the command update source. I agree with you on that. And then redo it, right? Let's do that. Let's do that. We're going to go to router global config mode. Yes, Dennis, you're right. That is the best way to do it. I do not have an extra monitor, though. I've got everything here, and I don't want to, you know, this was just supposed to be a quick lab, and we're going over here, obviously. Router BGP 100, and we're going to say no that. Same thing with this guy. And get rid of the section BGP. And you're saying the BGP should go up once we remove that, right? But then that's what they asked us to do, so we may have to put that back in. Configure terminal, router BGP 200. Hopefully Soluciones got the right solution. Y'all like my wordplay there? Neighbor, we got to do the same thing on router this guy, and then BGP should go up, you said? Come on, buddy. We got rid of the update source on both commands there. There it goes. Shout out to Soluciones for coming up with that. So now I guess we got to put that back in, right? Because that's what they asked us to do. So they wanted that in there. So BGP is up again. Soluciones, man, appreciate you rocking with me, man. I'm gonna need you as my sidekick next time I do these live streams. So we do show IP, BGP, some. Yeah, BGP is definitely up now, and we're receiving prefixes, as you can see here. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that back in, though. That's not gonna take it down, right? Because that's what they asked us to do. The reason why we put that in, Soluciones, is because it said, make sure that if at some point router 2 learns an IP prefix from another BGP router and then sends it to router 1, the next hop address will remain as the router 2. No, that's not what that command was from. No, that's not what it was. This was the task they asked us. It said router 1 should use the loopback 100 as the peer source address, and router 2 should do the same. So that's the reason why we put that in there. Obviously, I took down BGP by doing the clear all command, right? BGP all. Now, are you missing the static route to the update source loopback? Let's see. I don't think so. I believe the static route should still be in there. Show IP route. Dennis wants to make sure the static routes is in there. No, the static route is still there. And as a matter of fact, we just do show run. I don't see why that, but it's good to know that what we did took down the we needed to change that source, and we need to put those authentication keys back in there as well. Include route, right? Yeah, there goes our static route. There goes our static route. Let's put in those authentication keys back in, and then we'll do those update sources again, right? Because they wanted the update source after or before. Make sure that the loopback. Okay. Update source. So yeah, let's put the let's put the passwords back in, right? So can I ping it? Can I ping the other side? I should be able to now. Ping 192.168.10.2. Yeah. Dennis, we can ping it now. Solutioners came up with a solution. Neighbor command should be the loopbacks and not the directly connected links. Yes, you're right. Let's put those authentication commands back in, and then we're gonna put those update source commands back in, and then hopefully we should be able to, and then we just need to run some show commands and call it a night. So the first one, router 1, configure terminal router BGP 100. He said neighbor 192.168.200.1, and then the password was CCNA. But they wanted it by the loopback. That's not what they wanted. We said, oh, that's right, it was password. The password CCNA. Specify remote AS. Didn't I not put that in there? Router 100, and then neighbor, and then the password. Password right there. Password, and then it's CCNA. But they want us to specify the remote AS or the pure group commands first. Oh, so we must have taken off the, let's do this, show run. Man, whew. Let's see. Did we get rid of those network statements or those no, we did. It's still there. The remote AS is in there. The remote AS is in there. So I don't know what this thing is talking about. Maybe we got to do the update source command first and then the password. Let's do the we did the Ebgp multi-hop. That's in there. Remote AS. Let's do the let's put those update source commands back in real quick. Router. Yes, you're right. Remote AS. And that's what I thought I did though. See, it's in there. Configure. After the remote AS, add the password. Well, here, let's try that. Configure. What am I doing? Router BGP 100. Right? And then we said neighbor 192.168.10.2. Remote AS is 200. And then the password? No. It was the password and then that. But let's try it. It was the update source command. And the update source was supposed to be loopback 100. Hopefully this don't take it down, because this is what we did. We had to remove that to bring BGP back up. And then the password, neighbor 192.168.10.2 password, and then CCNA. It took it that time. So you got to put in that. You got to put in that update source. Good to know, right? So we got to do the same thing on router 2. Put in the update source command as loopback 200. Update source command is 200. So neighbor 192 with the loopback interface of your neighbor. Yeah, 192.168.10.1. Right? Is that what we did on the other side? Yeah, 10.1. So this is 10.2. The other one's 10.1. And then we're doing the update source first. Update source was loopback 200. Right? And then you put in the password. So neighbor 192.168.10.1. And then password, he said was CCNA. And it took it that time. And BGP is still up. Fingers crossed, right? If you are peering on the directly connected links, there is no need for the eBGP multi-hop. It is for when peering with the loopbacks in this case. Yes, I understand that. I see what you're saying, Fushnikin, but this was one of the tasks they wanted us to do. They said, I'm going to read the task for you just to get you caught up. Maybe you like jumped in halfway through the stream, but one of the tasks was make sure that if at some point router 2 learns an IP prefix from another BGP router, so in this case a hypothetical one, like let's say router 3 or router 4, and then sends it to router 1, the next hop address will remain as the router 2 IP address and increase the time to live, or TTL, to 2. And that's why we did that. So yeah, I understand it. It's not necessary, but it was what they asked us to do. So what did we do? We did the authentication. We did the we did the timers. I think we're almost done here. Make sure that they advertise their loopbacks. We did that. And then they said confirm eBGP is working properly with the following run commands. They want us to run 3 show commands, and then ping the loopbacks. So show IP protocols was the first one. Let's go to router 1 and do it though. It's IP protocols, IP BGP sum, and IP route BGP. So we're going to say show IP protocols. We are in BGP 100, right? We are advertising for, well, it's not advertising for 200, but it's the neighbor is 10.2. Maximum path 1, right? Because it's only one hop away. That's the AD. Last update was 8 minutes before we took the damn thing down. Let's just say it's a fiber cut. That's right. That's what every ISP does for you, right? Okay, and that's the gateway 10.2. So that's it right there. What else they want us to do? Show IP BGP sum, which we done already a couple times actually. BGP sum. We're gonna wrap it up here, y'all. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me for almost an hour and a half and stuff like that. Maybe some of y'all came in halfway through the stream, but for y'all, if y'all just now catching up, we took down BGP like CenturyLink or Spectrum or something, and we had to basically fix it by taking out the update source commands and put them back in. Shout out to Solucionis LP for finding that fix right there. I didn't realize that I took it down. My heart was beating. I know some of y'all don't realize how nervous I got right there, but I was sweating for a second. I'm like, man, I just took down BGP and I got about 20 people watching me doing this. Anyway, they also wanted us to run that show IP BGP sum, show IP route BGP. So show IP route BGP. I don't see no, oh, there go the BGP route right there. So when we just do all of the routes, show IP routes, there go the BGP route. Don't remember when it got installed there. Maybe when it came back up, I don't know. But we should be able to ping across with a different source address. Ping 192.168.2.1, the source of loopback 1. Never clear BGP and VPN sessions. Amine, that's good to know because I took it down. Let's see. We're source loopback 1. And Dennis, yes, you learn more by breaking things than fixing things. Well, guess what? I know I'm going to be really careful with that clear IP BGP star command because I just took down all of those peers. Loopback 1 was the IP address. And can we ping now? No. I thought we could. Maybe because we're not advertising loopback 1. Or he doesn't know the loopback. The router 2 does not know about that loopback. But that's what we should be able to ping to, though. Can I ping? Yeah, from router 1. I was supposed to be able to ping that. Let's do this. Let's make sure that the statements are being shown here. Always add the soft command when clearing. Fruschnicken. Trust me, I'm going to remember that next time. It's clear for y'all who's just now tuning in. Clear IP BGP star, but don't forget the soft. Don't forget the soft, or else you're going to hard reset BGP and just take down damn near everything. Show, run, pipe, section, BGP. What do we need to do? We need to ping. We need to be able to ping 2.0, and we do got a network statement for it. We got a network statement for it, but what are we missing here? We got the timers. I don't see the masks though. Maybe because it's like I forgot who mentioned that, but somebody mentioned because they're classful, that's why they don't show up. Ayo, what's your question, man? What is your question? You say you got a question related to tech. We are all like-minded individuals on this live stream here, and anybody can answer your question. Erase the update source command. Yes, when we need to bring a BGP back up, we need to erase the update source command and put it back in. But is that the reason why I can't ping, Solucionis? Is that the reason why I can't ping? Because the update source is loopback 200. So maybe I need to change. Maybe I need to change my update source. Let me see. Let me see here. Maybe I need to be able to ping from somewhere else and do that. Show run section BGP. So I should be able to ping from that and do that, right? If that's what you're telling me, and change the ping to the loopback to 100. There you go. That's the reason why. Because if you use that, you need to change the neighbor. Good to know. That's the reason why, Solucionis. So I can ping from loopback 1. Couldn't do it from loopback 1. So maybe if I add the loopback source to 1, I should be able to do that. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But on this one, I should be able to ping 1.1, right? 1.1? Do I need to be able to? Yeah, I should be able to ping 1.1 from loopback 200. Ping 192.168.1.1, and then the source should be loopback 200. We don't got a reply. Come on, man. Oh, yes. 1.1, right? Is that what ping? Yes, we pinged ping 192.168 with source of loopback 1. Maybe try loopback 1. No, loopback 2 in this case, because he's on the other two. Source, we don't have a loopback 2. What the hell am I talking about? Oh, because he got a loopback 1 as well. Loopback 1. Nope. Maybe because he don't have any statements over there. He can ping 100.1. No, he can ping 2.1. But he can't ping 1.1. Is 1.1 loopback on here? It should be. Brief exclude unsigned. On the other side, you need to change it. Yep. AO says he is going for his associate's degree in IT and will have his A+ and Net+ by the end of the year. Is that a good way to get into tech? It is a good entry-level way to get into tech. It depends on how much, this is my opinion now, depends on how much you know about, computers. If you know the difference between an IP address and a MAC address, or a firewall and a switch, I don't know if you really should take the Network Plus or the Network Plus. If I was you, I would go for the CCNA exam. A+ and Net+ are entry level certs. I personally, I did take CompTIA exams. I would not recommend it if I'm gonna give some advice to somebody who's getting into tech. I would not recommend the A+ and Net+. I wouldn't say it did not open any doors for me. It did open up some doors for me, but I wouldn't say that. Actually, I got my first IT job without those certs. So there you go. I graduated from UCF. I got my bachelor's degree in management information systems. I just so happened to work at the police department and got a PC technician job. It wasn't about what I knew. It was what about who I know and where I was at the time. I didn't have no certs or anything. But while I was working there, I got my A plus certification. While I was working there, I got my Net Plus certification, and then from there, I got a help desk job. So it's entry level. If you really want to make some big bucks, you don't want to do any kind of like entry level work like that or get into A plus or Net. I personally would take the CCNA exam or something that's a bit more vendor neutral, not vendor neutral, but more focused on vendors, like maybe like a Juniper cert or something like that. That's more specialized. Me, I personally love CCNA. I'm a Cisco fanboy. I'll admit that, whatever. But I personally would not do it. If anybody else got any advice for AO, he's getting his associate's degree in IT, and then he's going to have his A plus and Net plus by the end of the year. Again, if you know what an access point is, if you know a little bit of subnetting, if you know what subnetting is, I personally would not do that. I personally wouldn't take A. Do you know what the difference between ROM and RAM is? If so, don't take A plus. It'd be a waste of money. Learn the stuff, but don't take the exam. It's not gonna really. You ain't really gonna make some real. Like you'll get some desktop support, basic entry level jobs. How about A plus and CCNA? Learn the A plus stuff. Don't take the exam if you could do that. Learn it in and out. Don't take the exam. That's me personally what I would do. That's just my opinion now. Ask around. Ask somebody that you know that's in the field. Ask them. I'm in the field as well. I just got a job as a network engineer. Been in IT for about 8 years technically. But I've been doing like desktop support, help desk, that kind of work before I really got like my first engineer role or analyst role and stuff like that. So router 1 was able to ping router 2. I don't believe router 2 was able to do the same thing. We must be missing a statement of some sort. CCNA will have a bigger reward faster, but A plus you will understand more about how computing works in general. Very true, Carlos. So again, if you don't know what a motherboard is, go take the A plus exam. That's my opinion. If you do and you know like the parts of a computer, learn this stuff just to kind of like refresh your memory and stuff like that. But it's not gonna really open up some real doors for you, man. A plus is really like, it's very entry level basic stuff on it. Not basic, but it's entry level. We were missing something because we couldn't ping what we couldn't ping. What should we be able to ping? We should be able to ping 1.1, but with a source of loopback 1. What's loopback 1 on router 2? Show IP interface brief. Loopback 1, and then we're done here. Loopback 1 should be 2.1. Oh, that was the reason why. And 1.1 is over here. So I should be able to ping 1.1 with the source of loopback 2. Loopback 1, which is the source of that. So 1.1, so I should be able to ping, I should be able to do this right here. Ping 1.1 with loopback 1. But I wasn't able to. What am I missing here? Is 1.1 being advertised on this side? It's not. So we're missing the 1.0 network. That's what it is. Let's go to here. Router BGP 100. So configure terminal, router BGP 100. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. Sometimes, what are your thoughts on the new CCNP and is it worth it? My thoughts on the new CCNP. I've always liked the route exam, switch exam, and then the T-shoot exam format. I've always liked that format. However, the T-shoot exam was just one topology, and nowadays you could, not nowadays, but back then I think you could just get a copy of it and be able to learn it that way. I wish there was a way, but then it probably would have been almost impossible to pass. They randomized the IP addresses and randomized technologies on this network topology, or maybe at least give us 5 possible topologies, and then learn how to break fix that, and then give us tickets from that. I've always liked that format. This new format is only 2 exams, so yes, a little bit less money, I believe. I don't like it. I feel like I wouldn't say it's an easier easier way to enter the field, or an easier way to, you know, consider yourself a CCIE candidate, because technically I only need to take one more exam and I'd be considered a CCIE candidate. I'm over here breaking simple BGP configurations. I would not consider myself a CCIE candidate. So that's the reason why I don't really like the new format. There's only 2 exams, and now all of a sudden I could be a CCIE candidate. Remember, they got rid of the CCIE written exam, so that's the reason why I don't really like that format. I would have rather they kept the route exam, switch exam, and then maybe some sort of randomized T-shoot exam, so that way you can test your route switch skills and then be able to take. I like the fact that we had to sit in CCIE written and then the lab. I like the old format. That's just my personal opinion. What are my thoughts on coding and development? Coding. Me personally, I don't like coding. I took some coding classes in college. I took like SQL Server programming classes. I did some coding for Visual Basic. I was not a computer science degree. I was a management information systems major. So it was like some business courses that I took, and some computer science courses that I took, but it wasn't strictly computer science. I don't like coding, but nowadays you have to have some kind of programming skills, right? You got to learn some like Python or something like that, or some sort of, so that way we can automate what we're doing here. So it's important, but I personally don't like coding. I'm not a software engineer or anything like that, but I know that it is a skill that we're going to need to, you know, add to our repertoire. Carlos said, sometimes a combination of experience and full stack goes further later on. Think of it like jumping into the dark side. You might be stuck a while in just networking. Very true, Carlos. You got to expand your horizons. So I got to pick up some Linux. Like I said, I failed the job interview because I didn't know some Linux. I'm definitely going to have to learn some automation, because like at my current job, I have to update the Ccnp from version, I believe they have, I'm not going to say what version we have, but it's not version 3. Basically, I have to update all these devices to Ccnp version 3 to make it more secure, because remember, SolarWinds just got the supply chain attack, right? And guess what monitoring tool we were using? Yeah, SolarWinds. So I have about 250 access layer devices that I need to convert to Ccnp 3. Well, you know what? I don't really have any automation skills, so I'm going to have to do that one by one. All 200 of them. 250 or whatever, how many I got on the access layer, but it's a lot. What were you doing? Before I get back to those questions, let's go ahead and finish this so we can wrap this up. I needed to do the source. I needed to advertise this network, the 1.0 network. Mask of... Don't I gotta do mask? Oh, I got 2 network statements there. What the hell am I doing? Control E. Not Control E. What am I doing? Where's router 1? Right here. How do you go to the end? Is it Control D? It's not that way. Oh, I'll just use the arrow key. There is a shortcut for that though. Mask 255.0, and because the mask is there as a classful subnet mask, show run section BGP. Now we're advertising the 1.0 network. Can I ping the other side now? No, I can't. What am I missing? What am I missing, y'all? Source address of 2.1. Erase the update source. How many times are you gonna tell me that, right, Soluciones? I gotta do that on both sides? I gotta do that on router 1. I mean, on router 2. Show run section BGP. End. Yes, it is end, but there's a way to go to the end of the statement. Like, you can go to the beginning with Control A. How do you go? What's the shortcut to go to the end of a statement? And advertise the network. I did advertise the network, which was network. It's network 2.0 on this side, so I was able to ping it over there. But on this side, 110.100 210. Oh, network 200. Maybe I gotta do the network 200 statement on this side. So router BGP. That's not why. I don't think that's why, but we gonna put the other network statement there. 192.168. Network 10.0, 100.0. So now 200.0, 200.0. Control E. Yeah, that's what I thought I did. But you know what? When I did that, it does this right here on SolarWinds Putty. You do Control E. So that's the reason why it don't work on there, I guess. I thought it was Control E, Carlos. Can I ping now? I don't think so. I don't think that's the reason why either. But Soluciona says I need to get rid of that update source statement, and maybe that's the reason why. Let's go ahead and do that. And then I should be able to ping with a source address of 2.1 once I do that. On both though? Because look, ping. I'm able to ping 2.1 with a source of loopback 100. Y'all see this? Look at this. Look at the configuration for this. I'm gonna be able to ping router 1 is able to ping 2.1, which is a loopback on router 2, with the source of loopback 100. Right? He's able to do that. Router 2 should be able to do the same thing. Right? Which is ping 1.1 with a source loopback of 200, right? So ping 1.1 source loopback. Oh, that's why. Source loopback of 200. No, that's not why. Source loopback of 200. So 1.1 ping 2.1 with a source loopback of 100. Ping 1.1 with a source loopback of 200. I could ping 1.1, couldn't I? I couldn't even ping 1.1. Interesting. Settings, general keyboard shortcuts. Good to know. Try that. 100 is on the same device for router 1. .1 is on that guy though, right? Show IP interface brief, exclude unassigned. Yeah, 2.1 is the other, is a loopback address. I mean, as an IP address on the other guy, right? 2.1. Who's 2.1? Show IP interface brief, exclude unassigned. Yeah, 2.1 is loopback 1 on here. You're gonna do a script, Soluciones. All right, appreciate that, man. So I should be able to ping loopback 1 on the other side. All good, Carlos. It's all good. 2.1 is on. Okay, so I'm able to ping loopback 1. So router 2 should be able to ping loopback 1 on the other one. What's loopback 1 on this? 1.1. This is why, y'all. That's the wrong IP address. Y'all see that? Y'all see that typo? Y'all see that typo right there? 192.198? That's the reason why. That got to be the reason why. Y'all ready? Interface loopback 1. His IP address is supposed to be 192.168.1.1. 255.255.255.0. You see that, Carlos? It took a little bit to catch that. That was a typo right there. And then we go to router 2, and I should be able to do it now. Y'all ready? On your router 1, your loopback 1 address is... Yes, I understand. Yep. Paul, thank you for that, Paul. I wish you'd have piped up earlier. But yes, that's the reason why, Paul. Shout out to Paul for catching that after the fact. But we should be able to ping it now with a source loopback of 200. Man, 2 hours into this lab, Appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Shout out to Soluciones LP out of, I don't know where he's from, but Carlos, appreciate you for rocking with me. Dennis, if you're still in the chat room, I hate 224s and 242s. Yes, I'm starting to hate them too, but these are /24 networks, so I don't know. That was just a typo right there, man. That was the reason why I couldn't ping the other side, for a simple typo. So we're able to ping from router 1 to router 2. This lab wasn't supposed to take no more than an hour. Bruh, I deserved that right there because of a typo. But anyways, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. Hit me with the like button. Hit me with the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell if you want to see some more lives like this, man. And we're going to like collab and do this more often. From now, this is what I learned today. I learned when you want to reset the BGP session, you need to make sure you do clear IP BGP star and then add the soft command right afterwards. If you do just the star, you're going to clear all the peers and damn near take everything down, depending on how many hosts and stuff you have connected to it. What else we need to do? Disable connected check. Not sure what you mean by that, Carlos, but for sure, we need to make sure we type the correct statements to type our, double check our work here. The reason why I couldn't ping across was because I had the wrong IP addresses configured on there. What else we learned today? We learned that when we take stuff down like that, we need to remove that update source command and put it back in. Because we did declare soft right afterwards and it still didn't like it. Maybe because of the authentication password. I'm not sure. But shout out to Soluciones LP if you're still there. He was the one that gave us the advice to remove the update source command and then add it back in. After that, BGP came back up. What else did we learn? That was pretty much it, man. Shout out to all of y'all for rocking with me, man. Daniel's about to start studying for the RHCSA. Well, I guess he already left and did that. Anyways, yeah, that should be it, man. I'm gonna try to do a live stream like this maybe next weekend. If y'all want to do it, throughout the week, let me know. But I'm gonna do these on the weekends, even though I have my daughter on the weekends. I just didn't happen to have her today. But we're gonna try to do these more often, and I'm gonna try to keep them under an hour so that way we can knock these out. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know we all got lives to live and stuff like that. And who the hell labs on a damn weekend, right? Saturday night. I should be out partying or drinking or something like that. But it's a whole ass pandemic out here. So anyways, like, comment, subscribe to the network.